What a great fight, guys. That was fantastic. Um, so, first off, what did we know about the fight? Um, that Yarde wasn't going to be able to compete with Kovalev on a skills basis, right? As we saw through the first 6 rounds, um, Kovalev smashed him. He just did whatever he wanted, landed punches whenever he wanted. And to be honest, I had my doubts about what I was even seeing because it was so dominant. Like, there was just Yard just never looked like he was even fighting. It looked like he was kind of playing a rope a dope. So in my head, I'm kind of like, okay, I wonder when Yard's going to turn it up. I wonder when he's going to turn it up. And I'm not sure that was part of the plan, to be honest. And kind of in my head, I was thinking, oh, maybe he's giving these rounds away so that he can kind of, come back and knock him out. But it was a great performance, and I'm gonna say it was actually a great performance from both fighters. Now, like we talked about, there was no way that Yard was going to be able to compete with Kovalev on a skills basis. He doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the the skills, and the skills are going to be equated from the experience that he's had. And he's only had, I think, 30 fights total, 18 or 19 now professional and 12 amateur. Um, and now, there was something I said in my video building up to this fight about how we don't know anything about Yard. I don't know anything about Yard. And someone said that, I was being biased or whatever, kind of misinterpreting what I was saying. But what I was talking about, we don't know anything about Yard, is that we don't know how he's going to react under pressure. We don't know how he reacts when he's going to lose, if he's going to get knocked out. We don't know how he's going to react when he's losing a fight. If someone's putting pressure on him, or if he's put in an uncomfortable position, if he's in a situation that he's not used to, we don't know how he's going to react. And I have to say that I am wildly impressed with Yard, for the way that he handled this fight. And like I said, we knew he couldn't compete with Kovalev on a skills basis. So what did he do? He knew he was behind on the cards. He knew he had only one opportunity to win the fight, and that was by knockout or multiple knockdowns. And what did he do? He went for it, you guys. That's amazing. Most fighters, they'll just be like, I just don't want to get knocked out because it'll make me less marketable in my next fight, or it'll make me, people think less of me. Oh, he knocked me out, or he just, as if we don't get to watch the rest of the fight. If you just stand around, walking around, getting punched in the face for 3 extra rounds, nobody's going to give you credit. Nobody's going to say, if you're a fighter, that, oh, he did a good job. Oh, it was a close fight. Oh, Kovalev couldn't knock him out. If you spend the whole fight running, and no one here is going to be saying, oh, well, they'll probably be saying that Kovalev dominated Yard. But what they're also going to say is that Yard has heart, that Yard took chances, that Yard was impressive, that he showed the temperament of a fighter. He saw his only opportunity to win, and he said, my goal is to win, and he went for it. Even though he got knocked out, even though he took a couple big shots, he went for it. And to be honest, I think that's going to do more for his career than, I don't want to say like than winning the fight, because that would get him the Canelo fight, but it's going to do much more for his career than it would have if he had just kind of taken a backseat to Kovalev's jab for the rest of the fight and just kind of let Kovalev pick at him while he tried to survive and maybe try to land a random counterpunch. But fantastic performance from both fighters. You have to give props to Kovalev too for getting hurt in that round by getting caught with a lot of big shots. Just like Buddy McGirt said, it was a lot of big shots, and Kovalev didn't do what he usually does, or what we've seen. Look for a way out, or that kind of stuff. The Andre Ward fight comes to mind, right? Like, when he got punched in the dick like a bunch of times, could he have continued? I don't know, to be honest. Sometimes it makes you have to poop your pants, you get punched down there, or you gotta pee. It's hard to fight if you gotta take a shit. But in the Eletier Alvarez fight, when he got knocked down, right, he didn't hold, he didn't try to stay in the fight, he just tried to bang with them, But this time, Kovalev came back, he weathered the storm, and he came out the next round looking to control the space better, looking to keep Yarde at bay and using his jab. And one thing that he did that I thought was phenomenal is that Yarde was using a lot of left hooks, right? And that's the punch that hurt Kovalev the first time. So Kovalev was like, okay, he's got that left hand really high, so he can land that snappy left hook. He started throwing right hands to the body, and I was really impressed by that. Really hard right hands. And there was a part in the fight after he landed like 3 or 4 of them where Yarde had his left hand completely low, like dangling down by his shorts, right? His arm was completely extended at his waist, and in my head I said, oh, he's trying to block that body shot, but he's trying to make it look nonchalant, like that body shot didn't hurt either. Kind of try to play it off like that little fighter mentality. I don't know if that really happened. I'll have to go watch the fight footage, but that's how I interpreted that, because he took a bunch of right hands to the body and then stopped throwing that left hook. But it was just a phenomenal fight, you guys, and I'm really impressed with Yarde. I hope that he can watch this fight and kind of figure some things out and up his game, because he's a really exciting fighter to watch. And just like we talked about in the film study, from that middle range, once he gets past Kovalev's jab, he was very dangerous. Those shots were just so short. Kovalev just didn't have an answer for that fighting at that range. But when Kovalev was all the way on the outside or all the way on the inside, he was just dominating Yarde, making the fight look easy. Yeah, so where does that leave us, right? Where do we go from here? Well, I'll tell you what. We have some great film to watch Kovalev moving back, that we can analyze, that we can watch, and we can use to prepare for his fight against Canelo Alvarez. Unfortunately for us, this is the only fight that we really have to see how a fighter can put pressure on Kovalev. I mean, there's a little bit of stuff in the Andre Ward fight, a little bit. We can probably piece some of that stuff together too. But I think this was a great measuring stick for that, to see how we're going to see how Kovalev responds to like the kind of fighting that Canelo can give him, or the kind of fight that Canelo can give him. And I have to say, so far it makes me think that Canelo might be able to get it done. He might be able to do it. We know that Canelo can take a shot. I don't know if he can take one from a murderous puncher like Kovalev, even though he took Golovkin's shots, because Kovalev is 15 pounds heavier. But we'll see. I guess we'll see. I'm really excited for that. We will have to see a little bit of the more fine-tuning of the Kovalev fighting on the back foot, or fighting going backwards as well, and see how that's going to line up with Canelo's style when we do the film study. But this was a great test for Kovalev, in that regard, to be tested like that, to be hurt, and to kind of measure how we think he's going to do against Canelo. I think it'll be really interesting, and I can't wait to start seeing people talk about it, and then maybe the fight gets signed, or maybe even this year. That would be fantastic, and good for Kovalev. Even though sometimes he's not the most agreeable person outside of the ring, he's accomplished a lot in the sport, and since his biggest fights were against Andre Ward, and he literally didn't make any money for losing his titles to that guy, it would be nice to see Kovalev, see something good happen to Kovalev in that regard, as long as he can stop being such a kind of a turd burglar outside the ring, supposedly punching women on airplanes and, stalking women. I don't know what the deal is about that. You wouldn't expect somebody like Kovalev to have problems with women, but I don't know. But anyway, great job from Anthony Yarde. That was a fantastic performance. You gave it your all, and no coach can ask for any more than what Anthony Yarde gave today, unless they've prepared them to give more. If the coaches trained them or taught them what they need to do, and they're not executing it, and they're not able to do it, that's the fighter's fault. But I think Anthony Yarde did everything that he was capable of, and he gave everything that he had in this fight. And to be honest, he's a champion to me, in that regard. I'm really impressed. I'm really happy for Yarde. I hope that he doesn't go to the post-fight press conference and be disappointed with his performance. I hope that he's not upset with himself. I hope that, his fans aren't upset with him either, because he really deserves a lot of props for this fight, because, Kovalev, in spite of the fact that he has 3 losses, is one of the best fighters in all of boxing. You know, he could go down as one of the greatest fighters of all time. He's just, his fight IQ is just so high. He's just a boxing genius. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to check out foutsboxing.com, where I'll be writing boxing articles. And I have some really cool things planned for that site too. So check it out. Sign up for the newsletter. You'll get notifications when I start producing content for it. But I have some really, really, really exciting stuff for that. Anyway, thanks, guys.